And glory, America. Bonjour, hi, Canada. Greetings from inside the Beltway to everyone north to south, east to west. Whether you're watching on Facebook or Instagram or on my YouTube channel, welcome. I'm just excited. It was a terrific opening night of the virtual RNC convention, and I had my doubts. I think you may have heard a little bit of worry in my voice over the last week because I didn't think the Republicans had the skill set or the time to put together a good show. Well, Donald Trump knows television. Ronna McDaniel knows television. They killed it. And I mean, it was terrific from start to end. Now, some is better than others. There's always a best part and a worst part. But you can't walk away if you're at all. The blue bubble people are reeling around Washington, D.C. this morning. You can see them. They're mostly media types, kind of gathered on street corners, shuffling their feet, eerily looking at each other as though, but we were supposed to win this thing. And they had nothing to do with it. And every time they broke in, they lost viewers. And C-SPAN probably had the biggest audience ever because C-SPAN just carried the convention. And it was terrific. I want to start at the end. I'm assuming if you're up this early, it's 8 minutes after 3 in California. It's 6:08 inside the Beltway. If you're up this early, you may have gone to bed before Tim Scott crushed it. I don't know if you know who. The only bad thing about last night is that the Indians lost to the Twins. But I don't know if you know who Franmil Reyes is. He's the Indians slugger who will take a 440-foot home run. Well, that was Tim Scott last night. He went long yard. And he made sure you know, if you are upset about anything, George Floyd or even Kenosha, although last night Kenosha just became madness and it's a terrible situation, Tim Scott made sure to tattoo on the Democrats obstruction of police reform. Cut number 14.
I'm Senator Tim Scott from the great state of South Carolina. To all of you tuning in and participating in the political process, God bless you. This isn't how I picture tonight. But our country is experiencing something none of us envisioned. From a global pandemic to the deaths of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, 2020 has tested our nation in ways we haven't seen for decades. But regardless of the challenges presented to us, every 4 years, Americans come together to vote, to share stories of what makes our nation strong and the lessons we have learned that can strengthen it for further generations. Because while this election is between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, it is not solely about Donald Trump and Joe Biden. It's about the promise of America. It's about you and me, our challenges and heartbreaks, hopes and dreams. It's about how we respond when tackling critical issues like police reform, when Democrats called our work a token effort and walked out of the room during negotiations because they wanted the issue more than they wanted a solution. Do we want a society that breeds success or a culture that cancels everything it even slightly disagrees with?
They wanted the issue rather than success. Tim Scott was so good last night. I met him years ago when he was just a freshly appointed senator, and he was the funniest guy in the room, talking about how he's got a master sergeant brother and a doctor brother and his mother, so he ranks fourth in his house. And I mean, just a magnificent man of deep faith, but he was on last night. Cut number 15.
I know where I stand because, you see, I am living my mother's American dream. My parents divorced when I was 7 years old, and we moved in with my grandparents into a 2-bedroom home with me, my mom, and my brother sharing a room and one bed. My mom worked 16 hours a day to keep food on the table and a roof over our heads. She knew that if we could find the opportunity, bigger things would come. I thought I had to use football to succeed in life, and my focus on academics faded away. My freshman year, I failed out. I failed 4 subjects: Spanish, English, world geography, and even civics. Trust me, though, after 7 years in the Senate, I know I'm not the only one in Congress who failed civics. But even while I was failing the 9th grade, my mother always said to me, "Timmy, if you would just shoot for the moon, Even if you miss, you'll be among the stars. She never lost faith in me, even when I lost faith in myself. Because of her encouragement, I went to summer school and caught up.
He went on as well to talk about how he became the first African-American elected to both houses of Congress. I got to say, at the beginning of the hour, now I watched everything from 8:30 forward on C-SPAN. At the beginning of the hour, which was the primetime hour, President Trump blew me away by meeting with 6 of the many hostages he and Mike Pompeo and Ambassador Robert O'Brien have brought home over the last 4 years, sending a message to everyone around the world that we will not leave our people behind. I didn't know how they were going to top that, but I didn't know they had Tim Scott bat and cleanup. Cut number 16.
The next year, I met my mentor, John Moniz, a Chick-fil-A operator. John saw something in me that I could not see in myself and started teaching me valuable life lessons. Like having a job would be a good thing, but creating jobs would be even better. That having an income could change my lifestyle, but creating a profit could change my community. He planted the seeds of what would become Opportunity Zones. This initiative that the president and I worked together on is now bringing more than $75 billion of private sector investment into distressed communities. I took those lessons to heart and started putting the pieces of my life back together. I realized a quality education is the closest thing to magic in America. That's why I fight to this day for school choice, to make sure every child in every neighborhood has a quality education. I don't care if it's a public, private, charter, virtual, or a homeschool. When a parent has a choice, their kid has a better chance. And the president has fought alongside me on that. Later in life, I started my own small business. That's why I know it is critical for us to have a tax code that encourages growth. We actually saw revenues to the Treasury increase after we lowered taxes in 2017. Rest assured, the Democrats do not want you to know that.
Now, he finished this segment, talking about race. Cut number 17.
After starting my small business and spending some time in local government, I decided to run for Congress in 2010. The district is based in Charleston, South Carolina, where the Civil War started, against a son of our legendary Senator, Strom Thurmond. You may be asking yourself, how does a poor black kid from a single-parent household run and win in a race crowded with Republicans against a Thurmond? Because of the evolution of the Southern heart. In an overwhelmingly white district, the voters judged me not on the color of my skin, but on the content of my character. We live in a world that only wants you to believe in the bad news, racially, economically, and culturally polarizing news. The truth is, our nation's arc always bends back towards fairness. We are not fully where we want to be, but I thank God Almighty, we are not where we used to be. We are always striving to be better. When we stumble, and we will, we pick ourselves back up and try again. We don't give in to cancel culture or the radical and factually baseless belief that things are worse today than in the 1860s or the 1960s. We have work to do, but I believe in the goodness of America, the promise that all men and all women are created equal. And if you're watching tonight, I'm betting you do too. Over the past 4 years, we have made tremendous progress.
When we come back, I will play the conclusion of Senator Tim Scott. I'm going to play Herschel Walker and Andrew Pollack and Maximo Alvarez and Steve Scalise. I'm going to play Natalie Harp and Jim Jordan. It was a terrific evening, and I hope they can keep this level of production up. Stay tuned.